There comes a time in every person's life when they realize that playing small doesn't serve the world. You were not born to struggle paycheck to paycheck. You were not created to just survive. You were built to thrive, to flourish, to lead. There is a divine assignment on your life, a calling to expand, to build, to overflow with abundance, not just for yourself, but so you can bless others. And while the world may try to convince you that you need to wait until you become a millionaire to live like one, I am here to tell you the exact opposite. Millionaire living doesn't start with your bank account. It starts in your brain, in your belief system, and in your behavior. If you do not master how to live like a millionaire while you're on your journey, you will never have the capacity to sustain it when you arrive. See, most people chase the bag, but the wealthy attract the bag. How? Through value, through vision, through vibration. You must become before you possess. And becoming means you elevate how you walk, how you talk, how you show up regardless of what's in your wallet. You must operate from identity, not income. When you shift from acting broke to thinking bold, the world begins to respond. Heaven begins to respond. When you walk into a room, do you carry the presence of confidence and purpose? When you speak, do your words command attention or complain about your situation? When you make decisions, are they driven by faith or fear? Because, let me tell you something, faith is the currency of kings. It is the spiritual capital that precedes the financial increase. You've been told to live within your means. I say, live beyond your fears, raise your standard, raise your environment, raise your expectation. People don't fail because they dream too big and miss. They fail because they dream too small and hit. You are not here to hustle endlessly for scraps. You are here to reign in life, but you cannot reign if you see yourself as a servant to struggle. So today, I want to speak to the millionaire within you. Not the one you're trying to become, but the one who's already inside, waiting for permission to be unleashed. And if you're ready to stop surviving and start living, to stop hiding and start shining, to stop shrinking and start soaring, then lean in. Because what you're about to hear will shift the course of your life if you receive it not just with your ears, but with your spirit. Now, let's unlock the mindset, mission, and movement of those who live like millionaires on their way to becoming one. Most people believe that wealth begins with money, but true prosperity always starts with the way you think, not with what you have. Your outer world is simply a reflection of your inner world. If your mindset is trapped in lack, fear, or limitation, no amount of money will create lasting wealth. That's because your thoughts are the soil in which your results grow. If the soil is toxic with doubt, insecurity, and scarcity, you cannot expect to harvest abundance, confidence, or financial overflow. The difference between a millionaire and someone stuck in survival is not just knowledge or opportunity or even luck. It's the lens through which they see the world. A wealthy person sees possibility where others see problems. They see investments where others see risks. They see expansion where others see expense. This shift in mindset is not optional. It is essential. If you do not first believe you are worthy of wealth, capable of wealth, and designed for wealth, you will reject the very opportunities that could transform your life. You will unconsciously sabotage your progress because your internal identity won't match your external intention. You cannot outturn a poverty mindset. You can win the lottery and still lose it all if your mind is still programmed for struggle. That's why you must renew the way you think about money, success, and value. The question is not how much you're making. The question is how much of your thinking is aligned with the life you want to live. Do you think like a steward or a struggler? Like a creator or a consumer? like someone who waits for a breakthrough or someone who becomes the breakthrough. Everything changes when you change your mind, not just your income, but your influence, your impact, your habits, your relationships, your environment. A millionaire mindset is not about arrogance, it's about alignment. It's about knowing who you are, what you carry, and what you were created to accomplish. When you operate from that identity, money becomes a tool, not a trophy. It flows to you, not to validate you, but to empower the vision that's already alive inside you. You don't need more hustle first. You need more clarity, more intention, more belief in your assignment. When your mind is rich, your life will follow. That's why some people can walk into any room and shift the energy, because they've already made the decision to win, long before they saw the results. They think on a level higher than their circumstances. They plan like they already have the resources. They speak from a place of purpose, not pressure. So if you want millions, it starts with mastering your mindset. Replace fear with faith. Replace doubt with decisions. Replace excuses with execution. Millionaire status doesn't begin with $1. It begins with a decision to think differently, boldly, and intentionally. Because once your mind gets rich, your money can't help but catch up. Lack is not the truth. It's a lie that has been packaged as reality. It's a script the world has handed you, written in fear and spoken through generations of limitation. You were not born to live in lack. You were not designed to constantly worry about bills, debt, or making ends meet. Poverty is not your portion, it's a condition, not your identity. The moment you begin to treat lack like the liar it is, your life will begin to shift. Too many people accept scarcity as a permanent state instead of what it really is. A mindset, a narrative, a system of control. Lack teaches you to shrink. It tells you there's not enough. It trains you to settle, but you were never meant to settle. You were meant to reign. Lack will try to convince you that dreaming big is dangerous, that aiming high is unrealistic, that abundance is for other people. But every time you believe that, you are agreeing with a lie that was never meant to define you. The problem is not the absence of money. It's the presence of a belief system that normalizes struggle. If you grew up around scarcity, you may have been trained to survive, not thrive. You were probably told to play it safe, to be grateful for scraps, to never ask for too much. But those lessons were written in fear, not faith. They were passed down by people who didn't know they were repeating the voice of lack, not the voice of purpose. Lack will show up in your decisions. It'll whisper that you can't invest in yourself, can't take the leap, can't charge what you're worth, can't leave that toxic job or relationship. And if you listen, you'll start to build a life on lies. You'll think small, act small, and attract small. But that was never the plan for you. You've got to recognize that lack is not a signal from God. It's a stronghold built by man. It's a trap, and the only way to break free is to expose the lie and replace it with the truth. The truth is, you were born to multiply, born to increase, born to overflow. The truth is, abundance is your birthright. Not just spiritually, but practically. But you can't walk in abundance if you keep agreeing with scarcity. You have to make a decision that you will no longer allow lack to speak into your life. You will no longer tolerate the mindset that says there's not enough. There is enough, more than enough. But you have to believe it before you see it. You have to confront the lie and replace it with vision, boldness, and expectation. Your words are not just sounds, they are seeds. Every time you speak, you are planting something in the soil of your future. The language you use either reinforces your limitations or releases your destiny. Wealth doesn't just show up in your life because you hustle harder. It begins to manifest when your mouth gets in agreement with your vision. If you want to live in abundance, you must begin to speak in the language of wealth. People underestimate the power of their words. They speak defeat and then wonder why they experience disappointment. They constantly say things like, "I can't afford that," "I'm always broke," or "money never stays with me," and then act surprised when lack becomes their lifestyle. But what you declare consistently becomes the blueprint your life builds from. The truth is, your mouth is a magnet. You are either attracting increase or repelling it by the way you speak. The wealthy understand something that the struggling often ignore. Words shape reality. They don't just talk about what is, they speak about what will be. They don't complain about lack, they declare overflow. They don't describe their situation, they declare their transformation. Speaking in the language of wealth isn't about pretending. It's about aligning your voice with your vision, your faith with your future, your confession with your calling. You must stop using your voice to reinforce what you're trying to break free from. Stop speaking poverty if you're trying to attract prosperity. Stop rehearsing the problems if you're trying to step into purpose. Use your words as tools to build, not weapons to destroy. Every declaration is a decision. Every affirmation is a brick in the foundation of your next level. You cannot create a wealthy life with a broke vocabulary. You have to shift the way you talk. Begin saying things like, "Money flows to me easily because I serve through value." "Opportunities are looking for me right now. I am surrounded by favor. I am walking into rooms where my name is already known. I solve problems that produce prosperity." Speak it until your reality starts to obey your voice, and understand this. Your words aren't just for motivation. They are for manifestation. When you speak from a place of belief and conviction, you activate principles that move mountains. Your voice carries power, not because of who you are alone, but because of what you're connected to. When you speak life, life responds. When you speak wealth, wealth begins to recognize your sound. Wealth doesn't happen by accident. It's built on structure. Millionaire status is not just a result of talent, hustle, or even opportunity. It's the byproduct of discipline, habits, and a consistent daily order that aligns with a you life. If your day is chaotic, your results will be inconsistent. If your habits are reactive, your life will always feel out of control. To build a millionaire outcome, you must first adopt a millionaire structure. Structure is not restriction. It is a system of freedom. Without it, you drift. With it, you rise. Millionaires don't just wake up and hope for success, they design it. They wake up with intention, not confusion. They follow routines that serve their vision, not emotions that serve their comfort. Your current schedule is a snapshot of your future. If your days are filled with distractions, procrastination, and noise, don't be surprised if your goals feel out of reach. The wealthy understand the compound power of routine. They know that small, strategic actions done daily lead to massive results over time. Success doesn't come from doing one big thing right. It comes from doing the right things over and over until they become second nature. Habits are not random, they are rehearsed. If you study the daily life of someone wealthy, you'll find that their time is budgeted, their focus is protected, and their energy is prioritized. You cannot expect millionaire results with minimum discipline. Every breakthrough you want is hidden in a boring, consistent process that most people avoid. Waking up early, reading daily, planning your day the night before, setting goals, tracking your money, investing in growth. These are not glamorous, but they are foundational. You don't rise to the level of your potential. You fall to the level of your preparation. Structure isn't about being busy. It's about being intentional. It's about organizing your time and energy around what truly matters. It's the difference between being reactive and being responsible. When your life has order, your mind has peace. And from that peace, you make better decisions, take bolder actions, and build greater results. Wealthy people don't just build businesses. They build systems. They create a rhythm that supports their results. The same 24 hours are available to everyone, but how you use them determines how you live. Start asking, is my schedule aligned with the life I'm trying to create? Are my habits supporting my vision or sabotaging it? Is my discipline matching the size of my dreams? If not, it's time to restructure. Time to remove what doesn't serve. Time to replace comfort with consistency. Chasing money is one of the fastest ways to stay broke. It's a distraction that keeps you focused on the fruit instead of the root. True wealth doesn't come from running after income, it flows from creating value. When you become a person of value, money becomes a natural byproduct of your contribution. The wealthy don't chase checks, they solve problems. And the bigger the problem you solve, the greater the reward you receive. The world doesn't pay for effort, it pays for outcomes, it rewards impact, it recognizes those who bring solutions to high-level challenges. If you want to increase your income, you must increase your ability to serve in excellence. Stop asking, how can I make more money? And start asking, how can I create more value? That shift in mindset will change everything. Money flows to those who fix problems others don't want to touch. When you become someone who sees what others ignore, who brings clarity where others bring confusion, who delivers results when others make excuses, you elevate your worth. And when your worth rises, your wealth follows. The people who are paid the most in the world are not necessarily the smartest. They are the most valuable. They are specialists, not generalists. They bring a solution that's hard to replace. Excellence is not about perfection. It's about intention. It's about doing what you do at a level that commands respect. When you serve with excellence, people remember you. They refer you, they reward you. Excellence creates reputation. Reputation creates demand, and demand attracts income. That's why value creation is always more powerful than chasing the next quick dollar. Chasers burn out. Creators build legacy. You don't need to know everything to create value, you just need to solve something specific. Start where you are. What problems can you solve right now? What do people constantly come to you for? What insight, solution, or service can you offer that makes someone else's life better? Get focused. Get refined. Get excellent at delivering that solution. When you stop chasing money and start building value, something powerful happens. People start chasing you. Opportunities start showing up. Resources begin to align because money follows mastery, wealth follows wisdom. Provision follows purpose. And when your purpose is connected to service, when your goal is to create change instead of just cash, the rewards come, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Position yourself as a solution, not just a seeker. Become someone who people can't afford to ignore. That's how you shift from chasing income to attracting it. From fighting for attention to being in demand. The marketplace doesn't owe you anything, but it will reward you for everything you deliver that makes life better for others. So stop running after money, start running toward mastery, serve with excellence, solve meaningful problems, deliver uncommon results, build undeniable value, and watch as wealth begins to pursue you with the same energy you once used to chase it. Living by faith and not by sight is the foundation of any extraordinary life. It means choosing to believe in a vision that hasn't yet materialized. It's about anchoring your actions to a future reality that you haven't touched, but you know is real. Millionaire living doesn't begin when the bank account is full. It begins when your belief becomes bigger than your circumstances. Wealth is first spiritual, then mental, then physical. If you can't see it with your faith, you will never hold it with your hands. Most people live by what they can see, hear, or touch. They base their confidence on the conditions around them. If money is low, their belief shrinks. If things go wrong, their mindset collapses. But faith people are different. Faith people build while others doubt. They invest when others retreat. They move forward even when the path is unclear. They live from the future, not just in the present. They understand that what is unseen creates what is seen. Faith is not denial. It's not pretending the problem doesn't exist. It's acknowledging the problem but standing on a higher truth. It's choosing to act, speak, and think according to a promise, not just a paycheck. Faith people don't need all the answers, they need conviction. They move based on what they know in their spirit, not what they feel in the moment. That's how visionaries think. That's how empire builders operate. That's how wealth begins. When you live by sight, you are limited to what already exists. But when you live by faith, you tap into what's possible. Sight will tell you you're not qualified. Faith will remind you that you're called. Sight will focus on the debt. Faith will focus on the overflow that's on its way. Sight will say the door is closed. Faith will declare the next one is already opening. Faith doesn't wait for the facts to agree. It moves based on the truth you believe. To live like a millionaire, you must carry yourself according to where you're going, not where you are. Faith sees beyond the bills, beyond the doubt, beyond the distractions. Faith hears opportunity in silence. Faith smells victory in the middle of loss. Faith speaks life even when everything around looks dry and barren. You can't afford to let temporary conditions destroy permanent destiny. This is not just motivation. It's the law of manifestation. What you believe determines what you pursue. What you pursue determines what you produce. So if you want to create wealth, you must first cultivate vision. If you want to see abundance, you must walk by belief. The most successful people aren't always the ones with the best resources. They're the ones with the clearest revelation. Millionaire living starts in the invisible. It's built on bold decisions made before anyone claps, invests, or believes. It's trusting that your steps are ordered, even when the staircase is hidden. When you live by faith, not by sight, you start seeing what others miss and receiving what others only wish for. Let's bring this home with power and clarity. Everything you've heard is not just motivation, it's a map. A new blueprint for living, thinking, speaking, and becoming. The journey to millionaire status doesn't start when the money arrives. It starts the moment you decide to live, move, and act like the person who already has it. Not for the sake of appearance, but for the sake of alignment. Your next level isn't waiting on money. It's waiting on maturity, responsibility, vision, and faith. When you shift your mindset, you shift your destiny. When you treat lack like the lie it is, you break the cycle that's been holding your bloodline hostage. When you speak the language of wealth, you begin to attract opportunities that match the power of your words. When you structure your life with excellence, you prepare your environment to receive what you've been asking for. When you focus on value instead of vanity, on solving problems instead of chasing coins, you move from hustling to harvesting. And when you live by faith, not by sight. You begin to walk in a level of confidence that can't be explained by logic alone. This is the life you were created for. A life of abundance, impact, purpose, and overflow. But it doesn't happen by accident. It requires intentionality. It requires discipline. It requires decisions that may not always feel good, but are designed to grow you into the person who can handle the very blessings you've been praying for. The life of a millionaire is not about what you own. It's about who you become on the way to owning it. Your wealth is not in your possessions. It's in your perspective. You don't need a lottery ticket to become wealthy. You need a renewed mind. You don't need to be chosen by someone else. You need to choose yourself. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You need to believe in the assignment placed on your life. Every principle you've just heard is available to you right now. Not someday. Not when you finally feel ready. Right now, you have the power to start becoming who you were created to be. And once you step into that identity, resources, people, opportunities, and doors will begin to align with your new reality. Refuse to settle, refuse to wait, refuse to shrink. You are not called to a life of mediocrity. You are called to mastery. You are not designed for just enough. You are destined for more than enough. Your thinking, your habits, your words, your structure, your faith. These are the tools, the weapons, the seeds. And if you sow them in consistency, in courage, in obedience, you will reap a harvest that no man can take credit for, and no challenge can take away. The millionaire life is not a destination. It's a decision, a way of living, of leading, and of loving your purpose out loud. So start now. Don't just hear this message, become it, because the world is waiting for you to rise.